Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am going to explain one most important concept in Java, that is method overloading and method overriding. Both of these will come under the category of polymorphism. All that I explained. Poly means many, morphism means forms. A single thing which is used to perform multiple tasks is referred as polymorphism. We have two types of polymorphism: compile time polymorphism and runtime polymorphism. The example of compile time polymorphism is overloading and overriding. First of all, what is meant by overload? See, I want to find sum of two numbers. To perform that, I am going to use a method, sum method. It is going to take two integer values and it has to return integer value. Next, I am going to use same sum method. It is going to use two float values. It has to return float value. In the same way, I am going to use sum method. It is taking two strings as parameters and it has to return string as result. In this example, a method, single method, sum only, it has to do multiple tasks. For example, being a student, I will ask you, students, you have to submit Java assignment, you have to submit DBMS assignment, you have to submit statistics assignment on Monday. For example, I am, okay, assume like that. I am taking as an example. Then what you will tell, sir, being Java teacher, you are claiming that we have to submit Java assignment on Monday. P&S sir will come, he is giving assignment, the deadline is on Monday. The same way, DBMS sir is coming, he is giving assignment, the deadline to submit DBMS is also Monday. Sir, it is not possible, sir, because being a student, how it is possible? We are overloaded. Why you are overloaded? Being a single person, you have to write Java assignment, you have to write P&S assignment, you have to write DBMS assignment. Then you will feel burden. In the same way, here the same method, sum, is taking two integer parameters and it has to return integer as result. The same way, the same sum method is going to take two float parameters as input and it has to return float as result. The same way, the same sum method is going to use two string parameters and it has to add these two strings and return result as a string. In this example, the method sum is used to perform multiple tasks. Hence, the method sum is overloaded. This concept is referred as method overloading. Okay, in technically it is referred as, actually in general we can talk it. Same method is used to perform multiple tasks is called method overloading, but technically same method signature is used. Same method signature. Method signature means method name only. Same method signature is used to perform multiple tasks is referred as method overloading. I will explain you with example. Okay. For example, I am taking class sample. In this anyhow we are writing program to demonstrate overload. I will use class name as overload only. Overload. I am taking integer values into a comma b comma c. I am taking float values, float d comma e comma f. I am going to use string values, string s1 comma s2 comma s3. Okay, in Java class contains variables and methods. I am going to use method name at sum. The sum is going to take two integer parameters, int x, int y. It has to return integer value as a result. So into sum, I will write a equal to x, b equal to y, c equal to a plus b, return c. Return c. In this case, sum method is taking two integer parameters. It is adding these two values, returning integer value. Now I will use the same sum method. Float sum. Now I am going to use float x, float y. Float x, float y. I will write d equal to x, next e equal to y, f equal to d plus e, return f. This sum method is taking two float parameters and it is adding two float values, returning float value. Next, I am going to use the same sum method. It is going to return string value. It is going to use two string parameters, string x comma string y. I am writing s1 equal to x, s2 equal to y, s3 equal to s1 plus s2. In our Java language, we can use plus operator to add two strings also. Okay. Now I have to access overload class sum method. This overload class sum method, overload class sum method. Okay. Class is non-primitive data type. To access class data, we have to create object. Where we have to create object? By writing main method. Because it may be any programming language. Program execution starts from main. Program execution also ends in the main. So I am writing public static void main. Actually, to write main, we have to write separate class because Java is purely object oriented language. But I am not writing because already we have written class. Then why I have to write separate class? In this class only I am writing string args. Which class data I have to access? Overload class data. Create object. Overload class name. Object name O equal to new overload. New overload. Creating object. By this object I have to call what method? Sum method. O dot sum. When you are going to call sum, it is having two parameters. What parameter? Integers. To pass two integer value. 10 comma 20. It will return value. To hold that value, use int result equal to res equal to O dot sum. Because the sum method is returning value, to hold that value I am using this variable. Next, you can call this or this, no issue. Now you want to call this or you can call it. Again O dot sum. It is going to use two string parameters. How we have to provide string? Double quotes. Sai Ram. Okay. Sai is passed to x, Ram is passed to y. It is x, that means x value Sai is stored under s1, Ram is stored under s2. I am adding Sai and Ram. We get Sai Ram we have to return this value. Return S3. Return S3 because it has to return a value. So please return the value. To store that value, I am using which value? S3 string value because S1, S2, S3 is strings. So it is returning string to hold that RES1 equal to O dot sum. Next we have to call this sum. Again, O dot sum of how many values? Two float values. 3.5. We have to use F. Because in Java language by default, float values are treated as double values. So we have to give F, comma 4.5 F. It is copied into X. This is copied into Y. X value assigned into D. This 4.5 assigned into E. Adding two numbers. 4.5 plus 3.5, 8 coming here. To store that, how we have to write? Float RES2 equal to O dot sum. Okay? You have to print these values. System.out.println RES, system.out.println RES1, system.out.println RES2. This is main close, class close. This is the program to demonstrate method overloading. First, after coming here, what we are doing? Creating object to overload class. We are calling sum method. We are having three sum methods. Which method will be called? Which sum method is having two integer parameters? Okay, 10 is passed to here, 20 is copied to y, a value become 10, b value become 20, c equal to 10 plus 20, 30, return value will be returned to here. Again I am calling O dot sum of Sai Ram. I have three sum methods. Which sum method will be called? Among these sum methods, which is having two string parameters. This is having two string parameters. Sai is copied into X, Ram is copied into Y. Okay, X is assigned to S1, Sai is assigned to S1, Ram is assigned to S2, S3 equal to S1 plus S2. Sai Ram. Returning value, returning Sai Ram. It will come to here. Next, again I am calling O dot sum. 3.5f, 4.5f. We are having three sum methods. Which method we have to call? Which method is having two float parameters? This is having two float. 3.5 is copied into X, 4.5 is copied into Y. D equal to 3.5, E equal to 4.5. 3.5 plus 4.5, 8. Return F. Print the values, main close, class close. This is the program to demonstrate method overloading. I am going to explain overriding. Before introducing overriding, please go through this example. Normally, when you are going to write something in your notebook, for example, you are writing like this: int a equal to 100. Unfortunately, instead of writing 10, you have written 100. What you will do at the time? You will overwrite it here itself without erasing it. What you will do? There itself, what you will do? On that only, we are going to overwrite it. This is called overwriting. Normally, what we have to do? We have to strike off it with red pen, then separately I have to write for better understanding. But most of the students, what they will do? On that only they will overwrite it. Okay? In coming to programming, for example, in your C language, we are using a variable int a equal to 10. What will happen? Here, a variable name a, value of a is 10. If I specify a equal 20, what will happen? This 20 will overwrite 10. If you print a value means it will print 20 only. But in Java, it will not like that. It will erase the previous contents. It will store the current value. But in C language, what will happen? Previous values will be overridden. Okay. In the same way, coming to Java language, overriding will take place. In which case, overwriting will take place. For example, when you are going to work with inheritance, what is inheritance? creating a new class from already existing class. Creating a new class from already existing class is called what? Inheritance. When you are going to work with inheritance, already existing class is called what? Superclass. For example, I have a class. The class name is SUP because already existing class is called superclass. It is having one method, void display method. Class contains variables and methods, but here I am not using variables, directly I am using method. It has to print system.out.println. This is superclass method. This is superclass method. Okay, now this class closes. What I am doing? I am creating a new class from already existing class. What is the already existing class? SUP class. Now I am going to create a new class. This class name is SUB class. We are creating this SUB class from already existing class. In yesterday class clearly explained. To create a class from already existing class, we will use what keyword? Extends keyword. What is the superclass name? SUP. In the subclass also we are going to use same method. Void display. Void display. But this display has to print system.out.println. This is subclass method. This is subclass method. Okay. Class close. I close two classes. Superclass close, subclass close. Now I have to access superclass data as well as what? Subclass data. In inheritance concept, no need of creating two objects separately. Okay, if we create object to subclass, we can access superclass data as well as subclass data. Because in inheritance video I explained, all the properties of parent class will be acquired by child class. If we create object to child class, we can access superclass data and subclass data. Okay. Now, where we have to create object? By writing main program. But Java is purely object oriented language. That's why we have to write separate class. Sir, already we have written this class, but already closed it. That's why if you don't close it, you can write here main. But I closed it. That's why what I will do? I will write a separate class. Class name is override. Because this program to demonstrate overriding. Then write public static void main string args. Okay. Normally, if these two classes are two separate classes, we have to create object to superclass. We have to create object to subclass. But what is the advantage of inheritance concept? If we create object to subclass, what is the class name? SUB. Class name, object name S equal to new SUB followed by parenthesis. Using this object variable to call display method, I have to write S dot display. S dot display. Again, to call this display also, we have to write S dot display. Our expected output is, this is main close, this is class close. Our expected output is, this is superclass method. Okay, if you write call S dot display, it has to print this is superclass method. If you call S dot display, this is subclass method. But actual output is, two times it will print this is subclass method, this is subclass method. Because in inheritance concept, superclass and subclass is having same method. The subclass method will overrides superclass data. That's why it is printing. This is subclass method, this is subclass method. Okay, how to overcome this problem? Okay, to overcome this problem, two approaches are there. What are the approaches we have to use to overcome this type of problems? In coming video, I will explain it. Please go through this video. If you have any doubts, comment in comment section. Please go through all my videos. If you have any doubts, for better understanding of this concept, please go through my previous Java videos also. Then go through this video. Clearly, you can understand. Please go through all my videos. Comment, like, share and subscribe.